my wonderful honor, it's my delight as Mayor of St. Augustine to welcome all of you, our invited honored guests here in the courtyard, but all of you that are gathered here to this celebration, this remembrance of the transition when Florida left Spain to become an American territory 200 years ago today. Perhaps the second most important event in St. Augustine's history. And so it's indeed my great honor to welcome each and every one of you here today. We have a number of distinguished, honored guests, and I'm going to do my very best to recognize you. I pray that you will forgive me if I stumble across the pronunciation of your name or if I inadvertently miss someone at this point in time. The good thing is I have a second bite of the apple. So after we're finished here, we're going to go to the National Guard Parade Ground, and I get another microphone there. So I'll clean up any runners I leave on base. We are honored to have our old friend return to St. Augustine, the Spanish ambassador to the United States, Santiago Cabanas. Mr. Ambassador, thank you so much. The ambassador was here in St. Augustine many times in the past as the Consular General in Miami, and he has a deep and long affection and relationship with our city. The Spanish Consul General in Miami, Jaime Licado. This is his first visit to St. Augustine, and we hope it's one of very many. We have two members of the Spanish Armed Forces with us today, which is a great honor because this was a military event 200 years ago. The Spanish Defense Attaché to the Embassy in Washington, Admiral Fernando Poole. Welcome, Admiral. And he is here with his wife. The Spanish Military Attaché to the Embassy, Lazaro Albarracino Santa Cruz. We are honored to have our Secretary of State from the state of Florida. Amongst her many duties in that role is as in charge of international affairs, cultural affairs for the state of Florida, Secretary of State Laura Lee. It was fortuitous that this event occurred on a day that we have a number of members of the Florida House of Representatives here in St. Augustine. It was a coincidence, a lovely coincidence, and we are delighted that they are here. I would first like to recognize Florida Representative from District 24 and the Speaker Designate of the Florida House of Representatives, Representative Paul Renner. I don't know if Representative Renner is here. And the family. We are honored, Representative Renner, that you're here, not only for the position that you hold in the legislature, but also for the fact that part of your legislative district does include St. Johns County. Our own Representative Cindy Stevenson. Cindy does a wonderful job. She takes great care of the city, of the county, her entire legislative district, and we're indebted to you for your service. There are any number of other representatives here with them. These are a part of their legislative class. They are preparing for Representative Renner's speakership, and they are here for a time of fellowship together and planning for future legislative endeavors. And so welcome to St. Augustine. We are delighted that you're here. The President and the CEO of Enterprise Florida, Jamal Saul. Thank you, sir. We're honored that you're here, and we appreciate you coming and being with us. St. Johns County Commissioner and the Vice Chair of the Commission, our dear friend Henry Dean. And likewise, St. Johns County Commissioner from District 1, Christian Whitehurst. Thank you so much, Commissioner. my colleagues on the City Commission, the Vice Mayor and Commissioner Nancy Sykes-Klein, Commissioner Barbara Blonder, earlier, Commissioner Horvath was with us, and I think she'll be joining us again. I'm sorry, she is still with us, Commissioner Roxanne Horvath. And finally, at this point in time, I would also like to recognize Colonel Gary Johnson, representing the Florida National Guard, and he serves as the Chief of Staff to the Adjutant General. I don't know if the Colonel is with us at this point, but we are very appreciative of their partnership in this event. This morning in the cool of my house at about 6:30, I prepared 20 minutes worth of remarks, and I walked out into the humidity and it shrunk to about 5, and we have been on a trolley train and it's down to 3. And so I'm very appreciative, and again, I'm honored. I just want to leave you to share with you 2 thoughts about today's ceremonies. We're here for 2 purposes. One is a time of remembrance and honoring a historical event that dramatically shaped not only this city, but our entire state and nation. And so it's appropriate on this 200th anniversary that we take just a minute to pause and reflect about what's occurring and what we're getting ready to celebrate. And the other is a celebration of our friendship with Spain. And so those are our purposes here today. We take our history in St. Augustine very seriously. It is a part of our economic lifeblood. It is a part of our culture. But when you take it seriously, you must wrestle with it like Jacob and the angel. And you must look at it from different perspectives and dig deeply to understand its meaning. And we are blessed with a rich and a complex history. We know that when the Spaniards came 455 years ago, that they found a vibrant indigenous community. And they interacted with that community and worked to find a way to live in a shared space for their entire time here in St. Augustine. We have a rich colonial period that is not only Spanish but also English. We have an American period that is still lasting, of course, but for a period of time tragically broken during the Civil War when Florida left the Union for at least St. Augustine a mere 11 months. We have this wonderful Gilded Age history that's particularly left to us with our architecture, and we have a rich and deep civil rights history that extends not only from the 1960s, but well before that with the founding of Fort Mose, the first free black community in what is now the United States. And so this is all a part of our deep history. We're here to recognize and to celebrate a small, albeit very, very important event. I'm proud to say that in November I'll be 65 years old. That feels like a big milestone. And if I were 65 in 1821, I would have been born under a flat Spanish flag. I would have been 7 years old when the British came. I would have been a 27-year-old man when the Spanish came back at the end of the British period. And I would have been a 65-year-old man when we became an American territory. That is a transition in one man's lifetime between 3 different nations. A tumultuous, exciting, frightening time in our cities, in our state's history. We're here to celebrate as well. I hope that you got to catch a glimpse of the large Spanish flag that flies on City Hall. That is an honor and recognition of our deep relationships with the country of Spain, with our sister cities, Avilés and Menorca, and we are proud to fly that flag on appropriate occasions to symbolize that relationship. We have deep economic and political connections. We are allies in world affairs. We are members of NATO together with Spain. We share many common religious traditions, many common cultural traditions, but perhaps more importantly, we share many deep personal relationships. For that, we're very grateful. Our relationship with Spain makes us a stronger, a better community, and a better state. And so on behalf of the entire city of St. Augustine, it's my pleasure to welcome you as we honor this transition and we celebrate our relationship with Spain. At this point, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Padre Medina.
On 22 February 1821, Spain and the United States exchanged ratifications of the At.a.m 22 February 1819 treaty in Washington City, paving the way for the transfer of both East and West Florida. On 3 March 1821, Congress passed an act implementing the treaty, and on 10 March 1821, President James Monroe appointed Major General Andrew Jackson as governor of La Florida. On 12 April 1821, Major General Jackson appointed Colonel Robert Butler as the commissioner for East Florida. As for Spanish East Florida, its governor, Jose Coppinger, received his orders from the Captain General of Cuba on 7 June 1821, appointing him the Spanish commissioner and to start the talks with the United States Commissioner for the transfer of East Florida and the evacuation of the Spanish citizens and troops. Due to the distance between Spain and La Florida, many of the required official documents did not arrive on East Florida until 10 June 1821. From June 11th to the 30th, both Colonel Butler and Colonel Coppinger worked on coordinating all the necessary steps in order to complete the transfer. On 6 July 1821, Colonel Coppinger, after reaching a preliminary understanding with Colonel Butler, informed the St. Augustine Council that the formal cession of East Florida would occur in 4 days, 10 July 1821. On the morning of 7 July 1821, Colonel Jose Coppinger, in a farewell address, informed the citizens of East Florida of the details of the transfer and evacuation. El 22 de febrero de 1821, España y los Estados Unidos intercambiaron ratificaciones del Tratado At.a.m de 22 de febrero del año 1819 en la ciudad de Washington, allanando el camino para la transferencia tanto de la Florida Oriental como la Occidental. El 3 de marzo de 1821, el Congreso aprobó una ley de aplicación del tratado y el 10 de marzo de 1821, el presidente James Monroe nombró al general de división Andrew Jackson como gobernador de la Florida. El 12 de abril de 1821, el general de división Jackson nombró al coronel Robert Butler como comisionado para el este de Florida. En cuanto a la Florida Oriental Española, su gobernador José María Coppinger y López de Gamarra recibió sus órdenes del capitán general de Cuba el 7 de junio de 1821, nombrándolo comisionado español y con las instrucciones de iniciar las conversaciones con el comisionado de Estados Unidos para el traslado de la Florida Oriental y la evacuación de los ciudadanos y tropas españolas. Debido a la distancia entre España y la Florida, muchos de los documentos oficiales requeridos no llegaron a la Florida Oriental hasta el 10 de junio del año 1821. Del 11 al 30 de junio, tanto el coronel Butler como el coronel Coppinger trabajaron en la coordinación de todos los pasos necesarios para comenzar el traslado. El 6 de julio de 1821, el coronel Coppinger, después de llegar a un acuerdo preliminar con el coronel Butler, informó al Consejo de San Agustín que la sesión formal de la Florida Oriental ocurriría en 4 días, el 10 de julio de 1821. En la mañana del 7 de julio de 1821, El coronel José Carpenter, en un discurso de despedida, informó a los ciudadanos de la Florida Oriental de los detalles del traslado y evacuación. I now present Colonel José Carpenter, Don Orlando Ramírez de Arellano II, for the reading of the farewell address.
Colonel Robert Butler, distinguished guests, Floridians, I welcome you to St. Augustine to witness this important day in our shared history. On this 10th of July, the possession of this province is transferred to the Commissioner of the United States, legitimately authorized to receive it, Colonel Don Robert Butler. The officials and troops of the Kingdom of Spain will leave the territory as agreed by a treaty celebrated in Washington on 22nd of February 1819 and by royal decree of 24th of October of the previous year, as well as other orders with which I find myself as Commissioner of the delivery. The Spanish authorities will cease to exercise their functions and the Americans will commence theirs. Throughout the pages of our glorious shared history, Spaniards and Americans, both military and civilians, such as the Spanish General Don Bernardo Vicente de Galvez y Madrid, and your own General and later President Don George Washington, have manifested many values that well deserve to be remembered. Courage in the face of danger, initiative in the face of the unknown, humility in triumph, magnanimity in defeat, self-sacrifice, total commitment, and more importantly, loyalty. All of these were treasured by our heroes during and after the difficult circumstances in which they first met and began their mutual respect. It is with the same sense of principle and mutual admiration that today, as we leave La Florida, that I, as well as His Most Catholic Majesty Don Fernando VII, King of Spain, extend our hands in friendship and mutual cooperation, and may this treaty, signed and ratified by both our countries, be as it was intended, a treaty of mutual and long-enduring friendship between the Kingdom of Spain and the United States of America. Floridians, you are going to give the ultimate proof of your virtues by obeying the disposition of His Majesty. And I am well aware of the sacrifices you have made for the homeland throughout our time here. I am well pleased with the idea that you will be happy, which is all that I desire for you. I cease commanding you, but still will remain among you wherever you choose to reside. Your friend and fellow citizen, Colonel José María Coppinger y López de Gamarra. Coronel Don Robert Butler, distinguidos invitados floridianos, os doy la bienvenida a San Agustín de la Florida para presenciar este importante día en nuestra historia. En este día, 10 de julio, se transfiere la posesión de la provincia al comisionado de los Estados Unidos, legítimamente autorizado para recibirlo, el coronel Don Roberto Butler. Los oficiales y tropas del Reino de España abandonarán el territorio según lo acordado por el tratado celebrado en Washington el 22 de febrero de 1819, la Real Célula del 24 de octubre del año anterior, así como otras órdenes con las que me hallo, como comisionado para la entrega. Por lo tanto, las autoridades españolas cesarán en ejercicio de sus funciones y las americanas comenzarán las suyas. Españoles y estadounidenses, tanto militares como civiles, como lo fueron el general Bernardo Vicente de Galvez y Madrid, y vuestro propio general y primer presidente, Jorge Washington, han dejado en las páginas de la historia común de España y Estados Unidos valores que bien merecen ser recordados: coraje ante el peligro, iniciativa ante lo desconocido, humildad en el triunfo, magnanimidad en la derrota, compromiso total y, lo que es más importante, lealtad. Todos estos fueron atesorados por nuestros héroes durante y después de las difíciles circunstancias en las que se conocieron y comenzaron su respeto mutuo. Es con ese mismo sentido de principio y mutua admiración que hoy, al salir España de la Florida y vuestra nueva nación, iniciar un nuevo camino en su joven historia, yo, como Su Majestad Católica, Don Fernando VII, Rey de España, extendemos nuestras manos en amistad y mutua cooperación, y que este tratado, firmado y ratificado por nuestros dos países, sea como fue previsto, un tratado de amistad mutua y duradera entre el Reino de España y los Estados Unidos de Norteamérica. Floridanos, vais a dar la prueba definitiva de vuestras virtudes, obedeciendo las disposiciones de Su Majestad. Y soy muy consciente de los sacrificios que habéis hecho por la patria a lo largo de nuestro tiempo aquí en la Florida. Me lisonjeo con la idea de que seréis felices, que es todo lo que os deseo. Ceso de mandaros, pero aún permaneceré entre vosotros donde sea que decidáis residir. Vuestro amigo y conciudadano, el coronel José María Coppinger y López de Gamarra.
At this time, Colonel Robert Butler, Colonel Jeff Jor, U.S. Army retired, will give his proclamation.
Your Excellency, Colonel Coppinger, distinguished guests, and perhaps most important to all of us today, Floridians all. Welcome to St. Augustine as we celebrate the peaceful and amicable transfer of sovereignty of East Florida from the Kingdom of Spain to the United States of America. As evidenced by the work carried out by our respective countries in the signing and ratification of the At.a.m Treaty of 1819, our common frontier was established in a way that is unique in today's world, by negotiation between friends and allies, and not through war and conquest. This act serves an example for the world to follow. Indeed, the bond between Spain and the United States was established during the birth of our nation and the vital contribution of Spain to our independence from Great Britain. With a sense of gratitude that will never falter, we recall not only the memory of General Bernardo de Galvez, but the courage, sacrifice, determination of the Spanish soldiers and sailors to the cause of American independence. As soldiers, these types of bonds that are cemented by shared blood on the battlefield can never be broken and will never be forgotten. Floridians, as your land transitions from one great nation to another, and on behalf of President Monroe and the people of the United States, I welcome all of you as the newest citizens of this American Republic and look forward to the day when another star will be added to our glorious flag. Colonel Coppinger, thank you for your friendship and all the courtesies rendered during my time here. I will always remember the special bond that has been established between us. Shall we proceed to the official signing?
Absolutely.
Now Colonel Robert Butler and Colonel Jose Coppinger will sign the act of transfer of East Florida from Spain to the United States. Both colonels will seal the transfer with a toast to the President of the United States and the King of Spain.
To King Ferdinand VII.
One of the wonderful things about this day is that we were left in the historical record a very detailed description of the events that occurred. The first event occurred here, which we have attempted to recreate and for which we're very, very grateful for all of our reenactors for helping us with. The second event originally occurred on the Fort Greene, but because of COVID restrictions, we're now going to go to the parade field of the Florida National Guard. To our distinguished guests, you have received a card. Carriages will be arriving shortly, and I encourage you to proceed with celerity, that means quickly, based upon your card, and enter your carriage. We'll then follow the carriages around to the bayfront. Everyone is welcome to join us. There will be an additional ceremony there. And so at this point, thank you, and the carriages will be arriving shortly. Thank you very much.
Adelante, soldado.
Custodian de San Marcos. Due to COVID, our dear friends at Florida National Guard have graciously made their parade field available to us. The Florida National Guard dates their founding to the arrival of Menendez in St. Augustine in 1565. Our National Guard system today that is so crucial to our national defense evolved from our historic militias. And I think it also represents the fact that St. Augustine has always been a garrison town. We've always had a military presence. We do today. We're one of only 2 states in the Union where the National Guard is not based in the state capital. The National Guard are a vital and dear part of our economy, a part of our community, and a part of our culture. And we thank you for their hospitality and their sponsorship. Let me quickly acknowledge the folks that have made all of this possible. Our friends at the University of Florida, the historic UF Historic St. Augustine, Alan Lassinger, and Ed Koppel are here. They are great friends. They managed the governor's house where we were earlier, and they've been instrumental. Of course, all of our commissioners and friends in St. Johns County. This date is vitally important to St. Johns County because 1821 represents the founding of St. Johns County. The St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, Colonial Quarter St. Augustine, our friends at the Fountain of Youth, John and Suzanne Frazier, and their extended family who greeted us this morning, and all of our friends and citizens who are members of the historic Florida militia who support the interpretation of our deep, complex, and wonderful history. We cannot thank you enough. At this point, I am going to call upon the Secretary of State, Laurel Lee, for a few remarks. Please come forward, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Mayor of Church, and it is a pleasure to be here with all of you today. As Florida's Secretary of State and Chief Cultural Officer, it is indeed a great honor and a very special experience to be a part of today's activities. I extend heartfelt greetings to you all from Governor DeSantis and Lieutenant Governor Nunez. At the Department of State, we have 2 very important missions that include preserving, protecting, and sharing Florida's history with our state, and also promoting and fostering international relationships. The events that gather us here together today further both of those purposes in such an extraordinary manner. I'd like to recognize several of the distinguished guests that we have with us here today. First, we have Spanish Ambassador Santiago Cabañas Azareña. We have Consul General Jaime Lacadeña. We have Florida's Secretary of Commerce and the President of Enterprise Florida, Jamal Sowell. Speaker Designate from the Florida House of Representatives, Paul Renner. And of course, your own representative in the Florida House of Representatives, Cindy Stevens. I know we're also very fortunate to be joined by a number of other members of Florida's legislature, as well as numerous local elected officials who have all worked together to make this event possible. So, of course, today marks the 200th anniversary of the ceremonial events in Florida that changed the course of our history forever. In 1821, as the Spanish flag lowered here in the beautiful city of St. Augustine, a new era of friendship between Spain and Florida began. More than 60,000 Spaniards live in Florida, and over 700 Spanish companies operate in our state, drawn to its unique multicultural character and economic opportunities. We are frequently reminded here of Spain's particular contributions to our nation, and especially here to the state of Florida, and of the dual pride that so many Americans take in their country and in their Hispanic heritage. Considering the close historical, cultural, educational, and economic ties between Spain and Florida, and recognizing that international exchanges strengthen the bonds of friendship and shared values between As Florida's Secretary of State, I am deeply honored to participate in today's activities. I'd like to especially thank Mayor Upchurch, all of the local elected officials, and his team who worked so hard to bring this event together, and all of you from the National Guard, the interpreters, and others who are here to reenact and make this event so incredibly special and memorable for the community and for us all. And I thank you for allowing me to be part of this very special day.
Two small housekeeping details. I was remiss in not recognizing Dave Chatterton and our dear friends at Old Town Trolleys that have provided us our transportation all day together, and they are always ready, willing, and able to help us. Now, you're not going to do this, but I'm going to wait until you do it. I want you to, those under the tent, to scoot in because we have into the middle, because we have any number of vacant seats, and we'd like to invite anybody who's out in the sun who wants to be in the shade. This is your great opportunity to grab a seat. We don't want anybody suffering and feeling uncomfortable. So please take advantage of any of these seats. Or at this point, I would call upon Father Padre to join us.
Sit on my lap.
What you are about to witness here today is the change of flags, Spanish and American, that took place at the Castillo de San Marcos on July 10, 1821. This exchange was between the departing Spanish troops under Colonel Jose Coppinger and the newly arrived American troops commanded by Colonel Robert Butler. After the signing of the act of transfer at the governor's house, both Colonel Jose Coppinger and Colonel Robert Butler returned to their respective commands at the Castillo de San Marcos. There, the remaining Spanish troops lowered the Spanish flag for the last time and rendered a 21-gun salute in its honor. Once this was done, the American flag was raised for the first time, and the 21-gun salute was also rendered. With their flag flying proudly, the Spanish troops sallied from the Castillo de San Marcos, saluting the American troops formed at the glosses of the Castillo as they departed. After returning the salute, the American troops entered the Castillo de San Marcos, taking possession of East Florida, thus ending the 308-year relationship of Spain with la Florida. Lo que estáis a punto de presenciar hoy aquí es el cambio de banderas española y americana que tuvo lugar en el Castillo de San Marcos el 10 de julio de 1821. Este intercambio fue entre la saliente tropa española al mando del coronel José Coppinger y la tropa americana recién llegadas al mando del coronel Robert Butler. Luego de la firma del acta de cesión en el Palacio del Gobernador, tanto el coronel José Coppinger como el coronel Robert Butler regresaron a sus respectivas tropas en el Castillo de San Marcos. Allí, las tropas españolas restantes bajaron la bandera española por última vez y rindieron un saludo de 21 cañones en su honor. Una vez hecho esto, se hizo la bandera americana por primera vez y también se rindió un saludo de 21 cañones. Con su bandera, ondeando orgullosamente, las tropas españolas salieron del Castillo de San Marcos, saludando a las tropas americanas formadas en el campo militar del castillo. Luego de devolver el saludo, las tropas americanas entraron en el Castillo de San Marcos, tomando posesión de la Florida Oriental, terminando así la relación de España con la Florida, que había durado 308 años.
Forward, first. Stand red. Move. ¡A orden de van! ¡A marcha! Color guard, post. Color guard, fix. A la derecha, puerta. Alíñense. ¡Descansen sobre las armas! Color guard. Attention. Present. Armas al hombro. Presento las armas. Armas al hombro. Abanderado, a vuestra posición. Set, arms. Soldados, formad.